going to show you how to create the Me, Myself, and I composite project. Okay, so basically you're going to have to photograph someone in a scene in 3 different places, and then you're going to put it together into one photo so it looks like that one person is in the picture, with themselves at the same time, doing something, doing some activity or something with themselves. So I'll show you how to set it up in just a moment. So for this assignment, the easiest way to put the 3 photos of the same person together and make it look like they're in the same room and in the same scene is to have the camera or the phone in one place. You have to leave your camera or phone in one place. So if you have a tripod, that is the absolute easiest way to do that. I got this tripod on Amazon for about $25. It's been, I kind of love it. It's very handy. It fits many sizes of cameras, okay? This is not a camera, but just so you can kind of get the idea. It's a little hard to hold my camera and show you at the same time, but yeah, so that's not a camera because I'm holding my camera, but you get the idea. It does something like that. And then you would set it up and leave it in one spot, okay, so that as the only thing that's moving in the picture is you or the person or the subject you're photographing. Now, this also comes with a handy little Bluetooth remote, which is awesome because I could do this project by myself that way. I could, I went to where I wanted to be. I set the camera up where I wanted it to be, made sure the scene looked good, brought the Bluetooth remote with me to photograph myself, all right, in different positions. So if you do not have a tripod, okay, then you'll have to find some other way of setting it up. And we've done this with many a family portrait. You can possibly, here I could put it up against something like that. No, maybe that wouldn't work, but something a little heavier like that would work. I would have to move this up, of course, and you'll have to make sure, that it is, getting the scene the way you want it. So yeah, it is a little more difficult if you don't have a tripod, but it's definitely doable. Okay, and then again, as once it's set up, you just leave the camera alone. You or the subject is the only thing that is going to move in the picture. To be going over how to combine our 3 pictures that we took of ourselves or of someone else. Even though the project is called Me, Myself, and I, it just means that there needs to be the same person 3 different times interacting with themselves within the picture. Okay, and we're going to be using masking to make it look like that person is, in the same place, in the same room with themselves 3 different times. What I want you to do is be creative and think of an interesting situation. And of course, I want the masking to look realistic. In our last project, it was more surreal and dreamy. In this project, we are going for realism. We want to make it look like we are really there in the room 3 different times. All right, so I have uploaded my pictures to my desktop, so I'm going to go to Open from Computer, and I'm going to open the 3 pictures. I put them, my favorites, in a folder called Me, Myself, and I on my desktop. And you can see how they just kind of, the eye just kind of jumped around within the scene because I was using a tripod. If you don't have a tripod, you want to make sure you keep the camera in the same place. If the camera moves a little bit, or if you have to have someone hold the camera, you may have to, instead of just using masking, you may have to use selection and masking. Okay, so if it moves a little, you can, where's my cursor here? You could select yourself. Oops, it's not selecting very well, but I'm not going to take the time to do that right now. That is something we did practice last time too. So, but if you use a tripod, or if you just keep the camera in the same spot, okay, and use that self timer, you should be able to keep the camera in one place. All right, so I am going to go to up to select first and go to select all. Okay, once I have this picture selected, I'm going to go to edit and go down to copy. Command C or Control C are the keyboard shortcuts. All right, I'm going to choose one of my pictures to be the base image. I'm going to make it, oops, sorry, what's going on there? There's one, okay. And it's doing some weird things right now. Okay. There we go. That's the picture I want. All right, so this is going to be my base image. I'm going to go to Edit. And I'm going to go down to Paste because I copied the other one. And there it is. You can see there is one picture on top of the other. Okay, and I suggest you do the masking of each layer one at a time so it doesn't get confusing. Okay, so get the masking right, and then you can add the third picture. All right, so we can see here that both pictures are there. If you want to see where the other picture is lining up, you can bring the opacity down. All right, or you can just leave it up, and if you have a pretty good idea of where it is. All right, I'm on this top layer, and now I need to add a mask so I can cut through that top layer. So down here at the bottom, we have added the buttons that says add a raster mask. We're going to click on that. Okay, and then we're going to grab our brush. We need black and white as our two colors, and you need to bring the hardness of the brush down to blend the two pictures together better, especially because when you're in the picture in one place, you may cast a shadow that isn't in the first picture, so you have to kind of blend the pictures together in some ways. All right, now that I have my mask added, I make sure I'm on that mask, and I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger with the bracket tool. There it is. And now I can start to bring myself back. There we go. So I'm going to slowly kind of paint myself back in. And you can see what it's doing is it's cutting, if I turn this off, you can see it's cutting a hole in that top layer to reveal me underneath. Now, here's where I have to be careful. If I go too far, I'm going to cut into myself. Command Z goes back one step. So you do have to be careful when you're getting close to another figure. Now down in here, I do want to make sure I get my shadow in there. All right, because if I don't, I'm gonna look like a vampire, right? Somebody without a shadow. It looks much more realistic when you add the shadows from people who are there. All right, now I'm gonna zoom in real close and just make sure that I did not fade into myself at all. There we go. Let's see, I'm going to switch to white just to check. Earlier when I was doing this, there we go. There was a little bit of fading right there. So you have to bring back that top layer. Okay, right there. All right, so those are our first two figures. Now we're going to go to the third figure, which is here. So we're going to select all, and we're going to go to Edit, Copy, Command or Control C, and then go to the other one. There it is. Okay, and go to Edit, Paste. Let me try that again. Because I have the mask selected, it's doing something weird. Make sure you don't have the mask selected. I've never seen it do that before, but it seems to be doing it on Photopea. When I had the mask selected, it pasted it into the mask. So, edit, paste. Let's try that again. There we go. Now we have it. All right. Next, we need to add a mask to this one to bring back the other two figures. So down here, we're going to add the mask. Go to our paintbrush, make sure we have black on top, and we are going to make the brush much bigger so I can quickly bring back the other figures. Again, I want to make sure I'm bringing back the shadows that go along with each of the figures. It looks like my lighting might have changed a little bit between the three pictures, so sometimes you might have to blend things together a little bit better. There we go. Bring this all back. And there we go. Oops, a little bit more there. All right, I'm going to zoom in just to make sure I've got it all. Looks good. Make sure, yep. Alrighty then, Command 0. Okay, so looking pretty good. I might want to crop it a little bit. I think it's got a little more than I need in the picture. Kind of zoom in on me a little bit more. Maybe tighten it up at the top a little. Something like that. If I need to do any burning or dodging, or any, at this point, if I needed to maybe add an adjustment layer or something like that, I could. Okay, lighten it up a little bit maybe. Okay, now I do want to burn in that corner where the light is glaring a little bit, but I'm trying to see where. Okay, it's not on this layer, so I have to find it. So it is on that layer. And then let me just check. And okay, so it is kind of on two layers. All right, so either I have to flatten it to do the burning in, or yeah, probably flattening it would be the best. All right, I'm going to go to layer and flatten image, and then I'll use the burning in tool. Before you flatten it, you would want to make sure that you definitely have everything the way you want it, because once you flatten it, you cannot change the masking. Okay, so I've got it on 50% exposure on the midtones. I'm going to Command Z because I need to make the brush hardness a little bit lower, and I'm probably going to bring the exposure down to more like 20% or so. And there we go. I'm going to kind of burn this down a little bit just so we don't have that glare. Maybe kind of burn the edges a little for a tiny bit of vignetting. Kind of frame it a little bit, and that is it. I'm all done, and save it as a JPEG. Since I already flattened it, I can just go ahead and save it as a JPEG. All right, if you do not need to flatten yours, you can go ahead and save it as both a JPEG and as a PSD as well. All right, good luck.